Good Monday morning, everybody. It is Monday, March 25th, 2024, and I'm super excited to be here with you for another episode of Project Joy Live today. I hope you are waking up and ready to go because we have an incredible guest in some of your favorite segments. So, all of that being said, I invite you to join us for the episode. Stay tuned. Good Monday morning, everyone. It is Monday, March 25th, 2024. I hope you are doing well today. I'm super excited to be here with you for another episode of Project Joy Live. We have an incredible guest today, as well as other things. So, without further ado, I invite you to get your cup of whatever you're drinking and let's get to our morning brew. Here we go. Are you stretching? Are you doing some yoga this morning or something to get your body moving? Let me know. I was stretching and moving about at 4 a.m., which was a fun time. You ever get up in the middle of the night or super, super early and you're wide awake and then you're just laying there like, what am I supposed to do? And you feel like, should I get up and get things done or should I go back to bed or what should I do? And I try to go back to bed, but I'm like, I feel like I should be doing something. So I actually worked a little bit and then I went back to sleep. Then I went back to sleep. And then about an hour ago, I went, I should probably get up. That would be great and wonderful. I'm super excited because we have an incredible guest for you coming up on the show. Keira Lani is here. We've actually known each other, I think, for quite some time on social media, and I'm really excited to have her on the show today. And we're going to be discussing how there's joy in literally all of the emotions that we're experiencing. And you guys know that that has been such a large part of our platform here on Project Joy Live as we've transitioned from the space of, creating the joy or finding the joy to creating the joy to being the joy. And so I'm excited to dive into that topic with our guest today. I also want to apologize to you if you hear rumbling and lots of noise in the background. Y'all let me know. Let me know how bad it is or if it's okay. We live right behind a middle school here in New London, Connecticut, and they have been working on this edition of the school and they have tore up our roads out there, tore them up through this process. And they're finally going and paving. I'm hoping they're paving our road too, but they're at least paving the parking lot. And so it is extremely loud outside this morning. So I apologize ahead of time for that. Then after we talk to Keira, after our break, we're going to be doing our birthdays today and letting you know what's happening on the Breakthrough Show Network this week. And I have a special closing message for you based on a film that my husband and I had the opportunity to see yesterday. So please stay tuned for that coming up as well. Our special guest this morning is a marketer. She's a branding specialist. She's an author. She's a healer. She's a leader. She's a mom. She's insert whatever whatever you like here. She's so many things. Which, are we surprised that we attract the multifaceted people to the show? No, we are not. So without further ado, let's welcome Keira Lani to the show. Good morning, Keira. It's good to see you today.
Good morning, Jessica. And don't worry about the noise. I am not hearing it at all,
Oh,
just
good.
so you know.
Manifesting achieved.
Yay.
I love you never know. Like you have sometimes you set yourself up for any live streams and whatnot that you do, and you hope like, I hope this sounds all right. Cause you just don't know sometimes until you listen back after and go, wow, that was something.
Yeah, I always love it when the train comes by
Yeah.
just to, like, punctuate exactly what I'm saying, so
Yes. Yes. It's, and it's actually funny though, because as I'm sitting here thinking about that, I hear in my background, I hear like a low rumbling of the noise. And I feel a sense of low rumbling this morning as we are in this full moon energy. And um yeah, I feel like I'm ready to take some action today. I know it's even earlier where you are. Are you feeling the action yet, Kira?
Yeah, I've been feeling this literally for the last, like, 3, 4 days. I was like, "Okay,
Yes.
this is a very powerful lunar eclipse that we're in right
Mm,
now," and I was really contemplating that, how when we have the lunar eclipse and it's in Libra. And so it's like Libra wants balance, right? And
mm,
the eclipse is like, we're going to get you into balance no matter what. So
yeah,
if there's something that you've been putting off, then you probably are ready to do it today. If you have been feeling this like we have, then just know that you are just along for the ride. And it isn't so much about like, I have to do everything right now. It's more about how do I find the balance, the equanimity. And
yeah,
I feel like that's a huge part of what we're talking about today. So it seems like a really beautiful timing to be here in
it
the
is.
Libra eclipse energy, talking about how do we find the joy in the times that are super challenging in life? And this has been a passion of mine for many years. So when I saw your show, I just thought, oh my gosh, that's like so much a part of what I do,
Yeah,
to be always looking for the joy. Because to me, joy is not so much an emotion as a state of being. I like the way that you put it in the intro, because we I don't know if you also I a lot of us were taught fake it till you make it,
mm.
and that was like this mantra that my grandma brought in, that my mom, like, tried to implement, but inevitably failed. And so I dealt with a lot of, trying to navigate emotions in my childhood. And do I hide my emotions? Do I blast my emotions? And how do you live with those really, really powerful emotions that feel like they're just like knocking you blindside, like losing a really close loved one, a
Right.
really deep heartbreak?
Mm,
And how do you find the joy in these times? Because to me, joy really is a state of being when we connect to who you truly are underneath all the hats you wear in life, underneath all of the experiences of life. The true being that you are is joy and love and just expansion.
yeah.
And yet we're in all of these human emotions all the time. And what I found in being told fake it till you make it
Mhm.
is, suppressing the emotions of rage, of sadness, of fear, all those emotions that we don't want to feel. We will suppress them, and then the joy is pushed down underneath, and we
Right.
can't even find the joy. We can't even find what makes us happy. Some people don't even know what brings joy into life, or how do we create joy? How do we become the joy? It's a really deep question.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I want to say good morning really quickly to Miss Brittany out in the audience. Miss Teresa's here saying, so glad to see you, Kira. Big, big hugs. And you're coming to us at a time that has been has had you put these things that you've always believed about joy and creating and being the joy into practice. Do you want to share with everybody just a little bird's eye view of what you've experienced recently?
Yeah, so on the last full moon, my second son at 28 years old suddenly left, from a drug overdose, and I found him. And it was such a really, like, surreal experience because on that day, I woke in the middle of the night with a splitting headache, and I didn't know why, I didn't know what was going on, but I knew I needed to feel better so I could go and do all the things I was planning that weekend with my son. We were gonna do some gardening and some firewood, and so I did self-massage, I did yoga, and I even went live to share self-massage practices and breath work to help with the pain and what felt like just really intensity of energy, what you may be feeling around this eclipse. And then I did breath work all the way out, and I was just really feeling the power of the breath work and the self massage and the practices. And then I discovered my son in his bed, his body without my son inside of it, right? And
Mm.
the breath work that naturally came in the moment of grief. I'm such a lifelong practitioner that even in that moment, I was witnessing myself and witnessing how the body naturally breathes with grief, with shock, with trauma. This was a very big shock moment, right? And I really felt like the joy was sucked out of life. I mean, just totally frankly, after being a joy practitioner for all these years, I was like, "Okay, where's the joy now?" I We had this beautiful snowstorm, and I went walking in the snow, and I was just like, "Yeah, all these things that brought me joy were no longer bringing me joy."
Mhm.
And what this showed me is really that joy is not out there somewhere. It's
Yeah.
something we find inside. And the other thing that really came to me in contemplating coming onto this show and, like, as I thought about, "Okay, where's the joy in this moment? Where's
Mm.
the joy in, like, when I get a reaction in my skin and I have an eczema attack, and
Yeah.
where's the where's the joy
Yeah.
there?" And um, but back to the grief, the losing of a loved one, because this is a part of our life that we all will experience at one time or another. I've walked with grief really my whole life. I lost my father when I was 5 years old, and I've had milestones throughout my life that markers of losing a close loved one. And this one rocked me to my core to lose a child. There's like a physical grieving that happens in the womb space when a
Yeah.
mother loses a child that is unlike anything else. And what I've realized each time that I've had to continue to walk my path without someone who's really close to me for whatever reason is that we don't have to lose the joy. We don't have to lose the love. It sometimes feels like all of the joy is gone, all of the love is gone, but every one of those moments that we spent every moment I spent with my son, or when I had a deep heartbreak with a lover, was actually when I first realized this, when I first realized that the love still existed within me, even though the companionship that I was craving was no longer a part of my life. And this has been such a powerful practice for me to harvest the joy, harvest the love from those relationships, even when the relationship is no longer accessible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. It still exists. It's there. And I would love to know if you feel like even in the because I think there's this misconception that we can only experience one emotion at the same time. And it was during experiences of grief for me when I found that not to be true.
Mm,
I've shared a story before about when my grandfather and my brother passed away in the same week, and we had gone up to Connecticut. At the time we were living in the South, and we had come up to Connecticut for the funerals, and it had snowed, and my little kids who had never experienced snow before. We're at the cemetery, and they're like making little mini snowmen and like
Oh,
snowballs and things like that. And it was like, yes, I'm sad in this moment, but there's also like, look at all of this around me, and what how I feel. And I couldn't, I found it, I think sometimes there's this pressure to emote outwardly that we are sad in these situations, but I allowed myself in that moment to laugh and to experience, because all of those things can happen at the same time. And is that what your experience has been like as well?
yeah, I really appreciate you bringing that forth because there is, when people come into someone else's grief, there it feels like there's this expectation. Oh,
Mm,
I um I hope you can be okay. I hope you can find peace. I hope that, I'm sure you're not okay is kind of what
mm,
a lot of people are saying,
right.
right? And I feel like it's my duty to be continuing with life, like, when someone really close leaves, like, when my sister passed 4 years ago, I had a moment of wanting to give up on life because she had left, and she was and I all these pieces that I wanted to experience with her hadn't happened, and
Mm,
I had to give up a lot, and then I chose to continue to move through life on her behalf, and I feel like, when we discount the full spectrum of emotions, then we're giving up on life, and we're not doing that beautiful human justice that touched us so deeply.
mm,
I know that, my son would not want me to give up on life because of what happened. I know that, he wants me to remember all the fun we had and to keep that at the forefront, even though, of course, we we need to cry, we need to grieve, we need to mourn, and
mm,
but that has been I really appreciate you bringing that forward because that has been an interesting dynamic for me as a leader, as someone in the public space,
mm,
how to navigate, this pressure almost of you
yeah.
have to grieve, you have to take time off, or,
Mhm,
you need to take care of yourself. Don't listen to other people. Like I like to have conversations about things. I want to hear from my community. How have these things touched you? And I
mm,
want to share this is what has helped me. And my personal grieving process is very personal and private to me.
yeah.
And yet my dharmic path is to heal myself, to heal others. And
Mm,
so even in those initial moments, and I mean, and really, this is the first month, it's still the initial moments. I feel really called to feel the full spectrum of emotions and to harvest from when a child comes in and is playing. I will engage with that.
mm,
I don't want to engage with a child playing from the space of, "Oh, you're interrupting my grief," because
yeah.
I want my grief to be interrupted. I want to feel joy. When my mom's friends came and visited her and she told me she was feeling better and she had finally laughed again, I was like, "Yay." That makes
Yes.
my heart so happy because, um, each one of us has our own journey with grief and joy, and yet the full spectrum of emotions is available in all experiences. I absolutely agree with you, and that's really, to me, where the joy is available, is allowing the full spectrum of emotions to be accessible in all experiences.
Yeah. I agree. I agree so much. And I just have to take a moment before we close up this segment to really honor you where you're at in your journey. it is such a challenge to deal with life in a season of grief, if you will. Um, and also dealing with those, others' opinions of how you should be acting and should be dealing with the grief. And I will say that, wherever anyone is at in their journey, it's okay. Like, you're good where you're at. If you need more time, if you never get over, I mean, ultimately it's your choice. It's your choice how you're handling your grief. And from a leadership perspective, and I love how you touched on that, it makes us think about how can we be a better support to those who are going through a challenging season, whether it's grief or not, and ask more questions instead of what you should be doing in your grief. Because I will say, looking in on someone like yourself, Keira, it's easy to go, well, maybe you should rest and maybe you should take time off and maybe you should be doing it. You don't know what anyone is doing behind the scenes or how they best can handle their grief. So I
Mhm.
celebrate you today, Keira, for not only the courage to continue on, but also in sharing your experience, because you're going to help so many people who are also going through these challenges as well. And I think you're doing great. However, you're handling the grief. I think it's beautiful to witness.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that greatly. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
such a
Absolutely.
such a gift to be here with you today and share this little piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything you would like to leave our audience today about the joy and the range of emotions that we experience as humans?
Yeah, I really would invite you, if you're dropping into this show today, to explore this topic. Go outside or someplace where you feel safe and really allow yourself to drop in to what am I feeling in this moment and what needs to be expressed for me to access the fuller experience of life. Because really, for me, where joy is accessible is when you allow yourself a full expression and full experience of life. So I really invite you to take this to heart literally and find the space and the safe experience of your full expression, whether you need to express rage or fear or grief or even if it's judgment. We all want to stuff judgment.
Oops.
And use that as your pathway to greater joy.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Oh, that could be a whole listen, we need Oh, I'm just gonna let that one slide right by this morning. Thank you so much, Keira, for being with us this morning. I really appreciate you today and sharing your story. And I hope you guys will stay tuned, because we plan on having Keira on the Breakthrough Show on a future episode, and you'll get to hear more about her story. And it'll be amazing to have her on the big stage and share more of her joy with us. So thank you, Keira, for being with us today. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with birthdays and what's coming up on the Breakthrough Show Network this week. Stay tuned.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and today is Monday, March 25th, 2024. Huge thank you to our special guest today, Keira Lani. We had so much love coming in the comments from Teresa, Nancy, Rhonda, Krista, Brittany, and I think I will echo what Krista said. Thank you for showing up, Keira. Thank you for showing up. I think that's the biggest thing for me that shows. I don't know. This just like the heart of a warrior, the heart of but a warrior for love and compassion and peace and goodness. And just, we're so grateful to you, Keira. So thank you so much. We have to get to birthdays today because there's always something to celebrate. And of course, there's birthdays today. So let's do it.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, birthdays today in the celebrity world. Elton John is 77 years old today. What is your favorite Elton John song? Let me know down in the comments. I don't know that I could pick a favorite, but I will share a memory with you. I remember my mother taking me to go ice skating as a child. And when we would drive home, she would put on the Elton John Greatest Hits album, and I would sing, which none of y'all will be surprised at this. I would sing at the top of my lungs, "The Bitch Is Back." That's what I would sing as a child. So there's my little memory with you. It is also the Queen of Soul's birthday today. Aretha Franklin, who passed away in 2018, had a birthday today. Can we just all take a moment and channel in some Queen of Soul energy? Like, ooh. It feels good. It feels good on this full moon. Sarah Jessica Parker, actress, is 59 years old today. That shook me for a moment. Also, the celebrities in my life, Joyce Bearden, that I used to go to church with, has a birthday today. And also Tim Kellis, past guest of the Breakthrough Show, has a birthday today as well. So with that, here we go. Wait a minute. The Captain Fantastic album was one of my favorites. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. Are you trying to make us cry this morning, Brittany? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I love it. There's some, Elton has some moments. Teresa met Aretha Franklin. What? I need this story. This needs to be an entire episode of the Breakthrough Show. I need this story. That's so amazing. Oh my gosh. When Teresa gets bombarded with private messages after the show, she'll know why. I love it. All right, guys, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elton John, Aretha Franklin, Sarah Jessica Parker, Tim Kellis, and Joyce Bearden. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating today. And of course, on Wednesday, when we come back, we will have more birthdays from you from Tuesday and Wednesday, because one of our past Breakthrough Show Network hosts has a birthday tomorrow. Who is it? You'll have to tune in Wednesday to find out. Speaking of what's coming up on Wednesday, let's figure out what's coming up on the Breakthrough Show Network the rest of the week. Thank you, Dr. Dre, for that lovely little intro. Coming up later this morning, if you are an entrepreneur or if you just have stuff to get done, if you have a to-do list, I invite you to join us this morning. Check in at 9:55 a.m. Eastern Time in our virtual community for co-working. We do it in 4 segments of 25 minutes each, where we allow each other to hold ourselves accountable and also celebrate all that we're able to accomplish in our time together. So join us for that. It's completely free. You can go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club or scan the QR code on the screen. Coming up this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, speaking of mastering emotions or the topic of emotions in general, Andrea Isaacs joins Shiraz on Rewriting Reality at 3 p.m. Eastern this afternoon on the Breakthrough Show Network. Coming up tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, Ferran Dozier and I finish our final episode in our grief series. Speaking of grief, see how all of this ties together? I promise you, this is never planned. It just happens. And so I just love how it all ties together. But our final episode is transforming grief into growth. We've defined grief. We've talked about grief support. We have talked about so many different things on this journey. And so this final episode is going to tie it all together. We'll also be announcing what our next topic is going to be in a 4-part series on Beyond 2D. So tune in tomorrow night, Tuesday, March 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Wednesday, I will be back in the morning with Jade Redder to talk about experiencing more joy with ease. So be sure to tune in for that, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Friday, I'll be here with Brian K. Wright. He's a past guest of the Breakthrough Show, My Way, Project Joy, all of the things. And he has a brand new book out in his The Greatest Lessons series. It's called The Greatest Lessons I Learned from My Coach. So tune in Friday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time for that. And then Friday afternoon, I will be back on the Breakthrough Show with incredible guest and advocate. And she's so many things. Her handle on Instagram is lovingly Mama Exec, and she's all that and more. So be sure to tune into the Breakthrough Show Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for that. And we will be glad to have you here. So all of that being said, I want to leave you with a couple thoughts today. So I want to share a little piece of my heart and a recent experience that left a profound impact on myself and my husband. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to watch the film Christspiracy. It was a thought-provoking journey that challenges viewers to reflect deeply on the essence of compassion and understanding. As vegans, we approach the film with a particular lens, keenly aware of the compassion we try to practice daily towards all forms of life. Yet, as the credits rolled, I found myself pondering a deeper question. What more can I do to show compassion for all life, not just in my personal choices, but in my work and interactions with the world? It's a question that I now extend to you, my viewers. Compassion isn't just a personal virtue. It's a transformative force that can redefine our interactions, our work, and our contributions to the world. Today, I encourage each of you to look at your lives through the lens of compassion and ask yourself, how can I extend my circle of compassion even further? How can we together create a ripple of kindness and understanding that touches every corner of our world? If you're curious about the film and its message, I invite you to visit Christspiracy.com to explore further. It's a journey worth taking and one that might open your eyes, might inspire you to see the world and your place in it through a new, more compassionate lens. As we wrap up today's episode, I leave you with a quote from the film that has been echoing in my mind, and I would love to know in the comments if you feel this too. This is not the age of great leaders. This is the age of great leadership. Tag, you're it. In a world crying out for compassion, understanding, and joy, remember that each of us has a role to play in leading the way towards a kinder, more compassionate future. Thank you all for being here today. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I encourage you to embrace the great leadership within you, to tap into the joy, know that you are the joy, and expand the boundaries of your compassion. I will see you guys soon on another episode. I love you all so much today, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
I've been trying, and I've been lifting myself up.